There is a quiet power in this world that many people underestimate. It does not require strength, wealth, or authority. It does not demand recognition or applause. Yet it has the ability to heal hearts, change minds, and transform the atmosphere around us. This power lives in something very simple: words. Think about it for a moment. One sentence can lift someone who feels invisible. One gentle phrase can calm a storm inside a troubled mind. One sincere compliment can stay in someone's memory for years. Words are invisible, yet they shape the reality we experience every day. Words carry energy, even though we cannot see them. They leave the mouth for only a moment, but they can stay inside a human heart for years. Think about your own life for a moment. You can probably remember a sentence someone once said to you that gave you courage. Maybe someone looked at you and said, "I believe in you." Maybe someone told you, "You are capable of more than you think." And somehow those simple words stayed with you. They became a quiet strength inside you. At the same time, many people can also remember a harsh sentence that once hurt them deeply. A careless remark. A moment when someone spoke without awareness. And even if years have passed, the echo of those words can still be heard in the mind. This shows something very important. Words are not just sounds. Words carry emotional energy. When we speak, we are not only delivering information, we are transferring a state of mind. If a person speaks with anger, the energy of anger travels through the words. If a person speaks with calmness, the calmness travels as well. This is why sometimes you can feel tension in a conversation even before you fully understand what the other person is saying. The energy behind the words arrives first. Many people underestimate this responsibility. They believe that words disappear once they are spoken. But in reality, words settle inside the minds of others like seeds. Some seeds grow into confidence. Some seeds grow into doubt. Some seeds grow into peace. And some seeds grow into pain. Imagine a child growing up in a home where encouragement is spoken regularly. Simple sentences such as "You did well," "Keep trying," or "I am proud of you." Those words slowly build an inner foundation. The child begins to believe that effort matters. The child begins to trust their own abilities. Years later, when life becomes difficult, that person will still hear those supportive voices inside their mind. Now imagine the opposite. A child who constantly hears criticism, impatience, or harsh judgment. Words like "You are not good enough," or "Why can you never do anything right?" Even if those sentences were spoken carelessly, they can shape how that person sees themselves for a long time. This is the weight that words can carry. But the beauty of this reality is that the same power that can harm also has the power to heal. One kind word can interrupt a long chain of negativity. 1. A sincere compliment can restore confidence that was almost lost. Sometimes people are not looking for grand solutions to their problems. Sometimes they only need to hear something simple and honest, such as "I understand you," or "You are not alone." When a person feels seen and respected through words, something inside them relaxes. The heart becomes lighter. The mind becomes clearer. Kind words do not magically remove all difficulties, but they change how a person faces those difficulties. They create emotional strength. This is why speaking with awareness is so important. Before words leave your mouth, there is always a small moment of choice. In that moment, you can decide whether your words will bring warmth or whether they will bring coldness. Most conflicts in life begin not because people are enemies, but because words were spoken without awareness. A calm mind naturally produces calm speech. When the mind is restless, the tongue becomes careless. But when the mind becomes still, the words that arise carry clarity and kindness. This is why inner discipline matters. The way we speak reflects the state of our mind. If more people understood the energy behind their words, conversations would become more thoughtful. Families would become more supportive. Friendships would become deeper. Even strangers would feel a little more comfortable in each other's presence. A beautiful world does not require perfect people. It simply requires people who are conscious of the energy they spread through their words. And when we begin to speak with kindness and awareness, we slowly discover that the words we offer to others also shape the peace within ourselves. Speaking with awareness is not something that happens automatically. It is a discipline. It requires attention. It requires the ability to observe the mind before the words leave the mouth. Most people believe that speech is simply a natural reaction to what happens around them. Someone says something unpleasant, and immediately a harsh response appears. Someone criticizes us, and our words become defensive. Someone disagrees with us, and suddenly the tone becomes sharp. In these moments, people think they are simply expressing themselves, but in reality, they are being controlled by their emotions. To speak with awareness means that we are no longer slaves to these automatic reactions. It means that between what we feel and what we say, there is a moment of conscious choice. In that small moment, we pause. We observe the emotion rising inside us. Maybe it is frustration. Maybe it is anger. Maybe it is impatience. But instead of allowing the emotion to take control of the tongue, we breathe, we become still, and we choose our words carefully. This requires inner strength because the mind often wants immediate expression. When anger appears, the mind wants to release it quickly through speech. When the ego feels challenged, it wants to defend itself with sharp words. But awareness reminds us that once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. They travel forward and they create consequences. Many conflicts in relationships do not begin with big problems. They begin with small moments of careless speech. A sentence spoken without patience, a tone that carries irritation, a comment that was not necessary. These small moments accumulate, and slowly they create distance between people. But when speech becomes conscious, something different happens. Instead of reacting instantly, we respond with clarity. Emotional control plays a very important role in this process. A person who cannot manage their emotions will struggle to manage their words. The mind becomes like a storm, and the words become the thunder that follows it. But when the mind is trained to remain calm, the storm begins to settle. And when the storm settles, the words that come out carry balance and wisdom. This does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending that everything is fine. It simply means expressing ourselves in a way that does not create unnecessary harm. It means choosing words that communicate truth without destroying respect. It means remembering that the goal of communication is not to win arguments but to build understanding. There is also humility in conscious speech. When awareness is present, we begin to listen more carefully to others. Instead of preparing our next response while the other person is still talking, we truly hear what they are saying. This creates a space where real dialogue can happen. People feel respected when they are listened to, and respect naturally softens conversations. Sometimes the most powerful words are the ones that are not spoken immediately. Silence can be a form of wisdom. When emotions are strong, taking a moment to remain quiet can prevent many regrets. In that silence, the mind has time to settle, and once it settles, the words that follow become more thoughtful. This discipline also strengthens character. A person who speaks with awareness gains trust from others. People feel safe around someone whose words are calm and respectful. They know that conversations will not suddenly turn into attacks. They know that disagreements can happen without hostility. This kind of presence creates harmony wherever that person goes. And the most interesting part is that the more we practice conscious speech, the easier it becomes. At first, it may feel difficult to pause before reacting, but slowly the pause becomes natural. The mind becomes more stable. The words become more intentional. What once required effort eventually becomes part of our character. In this way, speaking with awareness becomes more than a communication skill. It becomes a reflection of inner maturity. It shows that we are no longer controlled by every emotion that appears inside us. Instead, we guide our emotions with patience and clarity. When a person learns to master their words, they are actually learning to master their mind, and that is where true strength begins. Kind words create an atmosphere that people can feel even without thinking about it. When a person speaks with warmth and respect, something changes in the environment around them. Conversations become softer, faces become more relaxed. People feel that they can be themselves without fear of judgment. It is as if the air becomes lighter. This is the quiet power of kind speech. It builds trust, it nurtures respect, and it creates genuine human connection. Every human being has a natural need to feel valued. Deep inside, people want to know that they are seen, that they matter, and that their presence has meaning. Kind words satisfy this need in a simple but powerful way. When someone hears sincere appreciation or encouragement, their heart opens a little more, their defenses begin to fall away. The distance between two people slowly disappears. Think about how different it feels when you enter a place where people speak kindly to each other. The atmosphere feels calm. Conversations flow easily. There is laughter, patience, and understanding. People are not afraid to share their thoughts because they know they will be treated with respect. This environment allows relationships to grow naturally. Now compare this with an environment where words are sharp, critical, or careless. Even if the space looks comfortable from the outside, something feels tense. People become cautious about what they say. They protect themselves emotionally. Instead of connection, there is distance. Instead of openness, there is hesitation. The difference between these two environments is often nothing more than the tone of people's words. Kind speech acts like a bridge between hearts. It invites cooperation instead of competition. When we speak with kindness, we are silently telling the other person that they are worthy of respect. This message is powerful because respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Without respect, conversations easily turn into arguments. With respect, even disagreements can remain peaceful. Trust is also built through consistent kindness in speech. Trust does not appear suddenly. It grows slowly through repeated experiences. When people know that your words will not humiliate them, insult them, or dismiss them, they begin to trust you more deeply. They know that they can share their thoughts honestly without being attacked. This trust strengthens friendships, families, and communities. Sometimes people believe that kind speech means avoiding honesty. But kindness and honesty are not enemies. In fact, kindness makes honesty easier to accept. When truth is delivered with respect, people are more willing to listen. A gentle tone can carry a difficult message without creating unnecessary pain. In this way, kindness does not weaken communication. It strengthens it. Another beautiful effect of kind words is that they encourage others to behave in the same way. Human beings naturally reflect the energy they receive. When someone is treated with patience and respect, they often respond with the same attitude. Slowly, a chain reaction begins. One person's kindness inspires another person's kindness. Over time, this creates a culture of understanding. In families, this kind of atmosphere can transform everyday life. Children who grow up hearing patient and respectful speech learn to treat others the same way. They carry these habits into their friendships, their workplaces, and their future relationships. A single home filled with kind words can influence many lives over time. In friendships, kind speech deepens emotional bonds. Friends feel comfortable sharing their fears, their dreams, and their struggles because they know they will be supported. Instead of competition, there is encouragement. Instead of jealousy, there is celebration. This kind of connection brings genuine joy to life. Even between strangers, a few kind words can create a brief moment of human warmth. A polite greeting, a sincere thank you, or a small compliment can brighten someone's day more than we realize. These moments may seem small, but they remind people that kindness still exists in the world. When we choose to speak kindly, we are not only improving our conversations, we are shaping the emotional climate around us. Each respectful sentence becomes part of an atmosphere where trust can grow, respect can flourish, and real human connection can thrive. And when people begin to feel safe, valued through our words, the world around us quietly becomes a more beautiful place. When people imagine changing the world, they often think about large movements, powerful leaders, or extraordinary events. They believe that transformation must come through something dramatic and visible, but the truth is much quieter and much closer to our daily lives. The emotional climate of our world is shaped by something far more ordinary. It is shaped by the small conversations that happen every single day. Every morning, millions of interactions take place between people. A parent speaks to a child before school. A colleague greets another colleague at work. A stranger asks for help. Friends exchange messages. Neighbors cross paths and say a few words. These moments may seem small and unimportant, but together they form the emotional atmosphere in which we all live. If those conversations are filled with impatience, sarcasm, and negativity, the atmosphere becomes heavy. People begin to carry stress from one interaction to the next. A harsh tone in the morning can influence how someone speaks to the next person they meet. That second person may carry the same irritation into another conversation later in the day. Slowly, negativity spreads like a ripple in water, but the same ripple can move in the opposite direction. When a person chooses kindness in an ordinary conversation, they interrupt this chain of negativity. A warm greeting, a respectful response, or a few encouraging words can soften someone's mood. That person may then carry this lighter feeling into the next interaction they have. Without realizing it, kindness travels from one conversation to another. This is how small daily moments quietly shape the emotional climate around us. The world is not only influenced by grand decisions, it is also influenced by the countless simple exchanges between individuals. Each conversation adds a small piece to the overall atmosphere of society. Think about how powerful this becomes when many people choose awareness in their speech. Imagine a workplace where colleagues consistently speak with patience and encouragement. Mistakes would become opportunities for learning instead of sources of shame. Cooperation would replace unnecessary competition. People would feel more motivated because they would feel respected. Now imagine families where everyday conversations carry calmness instead of frustration. Parents speaking patiently to their children. Partners listening carefully to each other. Even during disagreements, words remain respectful. In such homes, emotional security grows naturally. Children raised in this environment learn that communication can be both honest and kind. Even brief encounters with strangers contribute to this climate. A simple thank you to a shopkeeper, a polite exchange with someone asking for directions, a moment of patience when someone makes a small mistake. These gestures may last only a few seconds, but they remind people that kindness still exists in the world. What makes this powerful is that these small actions do not require special talent or extraordinary effort. Anyone can participate in shaping the emotional environment through their daily speech. It only requires awareness and intention. Instead of speaking automatically, we pause for a moment and choose words that bring calmness rather than tension. Many people underestimate how deeply everyday conversations influence mental and emotional well-being. A person who constantly hears criticism or harshness can slowly lose confidence. But a person who regularly hears supportive and respectful words begins to feel stronger. Their mind becomes more positive. Their outlook becomes more hopeful. In this way, daily speech becomes a quiet form of influence. Without speeches or announcements, people affect each other's emotional state through ordinary dialogue. One sentence can lift someone's mood. Another sentence can bring unnecessary pain. The difference lies in the awareness behind our words. When enough individuals begin to speak with kindness in these daily interactions, the collective atmosphere begins to shift. Workplaces become more cooperative. Families become more supportive. Communities become more compassionate. This transformation does not happen overnight, but it grows steadily through countless small moments. The beauty of this idea is that it places responsibility and opportunity in the hands of every person. We do not need to wait for the world to change first. Each conversation we have today is already part of that change. And when our daily words carry patience, encouragement, and respect, those small conversations quietly begin to shape a kinder and more peaceful world. A calm mind is like still water. When water is disturbed, it becomes unclear and everything reflected in it appears distorted. But when the water becomes still, it becomes transparent and everything can be seen clearly. The same is true for the human mind. When the mind is restless, the words that come out of it are often careless, emotional, and confusing. But when the mind becomes calm, speech naturally becomes thoughtful, gentle, and meaningful. Many people try to control their words directly, but they forget something important. Words are only the final expression of what is happening inside the mind. If the mind is full of tension, frustration, or agitation, those emotions will eventually appear in speech. Even if someone tries to hide them, the tone of voice, the choice of words, and the energy behind them will reveal the inner state. This is why inner calmness is so important. When the mind becomes peaceful, speech does not need to be forced into kindness. It flows naturally. A calm person does not feel the need to react to every small disturbance. They observe first. They understand the situation, and only then do they speak. Because of this pause, their words carry clarity rather than confusion. Think about moments when the mind feels overwhelmed. Perhaps there is stress, fatigue, or frustration. In those moments, people often say things they later regret. A small problem suddenly turns into an argument because the mind was already unsettled. The words that come out are sharp not because the person truly intends harm, but because the mind is too restless to respond wisely. But when the mind is calm, the situation changes completely. Even if someone speaks with anger, the calm mind does not immediately absorb that anger. Instead, it remains stable. It listens without reacting impulsively. From this stability, the response becomes balanced. Sometimes the response may be gentle, sometimes it may be firm, but it will still carry respect and awareness. A calm mind also allows us to listen more deeply. Many conversations fail not because people lack intelligence, but because they lack presence. While one person is speaking, the other is already preparing their reply. The mind jumps ahead, instead of truly listening. This creates misunderstandings and unnecessary tension. When the mind is calm, listening becomes natural. The person becomes fully present with the conversation. They hear not only the words, but also the feelings behind those words. This deeper understanding helps them respond in a way that brings clarity rather than conflict. Calmness also slows down speech in a beneficial way. Instead of rushing through sentences or speaking without thinking, a calm person speaks with intention. Their words become simple and direct. There is no need for unnecessary exaggeration or emotional outbursts. This simplicity makes their speech more powerful because people sense the sincerity behind it. Another important quality of a calm mind is patience. When patience is present, conversations are no longer treated as battles that must be won quickly. Instead, they become opportunities to understand another perspective. Even during disagreement, the tone remains respectful, because the calm mind does not feel threatened by different opinions. Over time, people begin to notice the effect of this kind of speech. When someone consistently speaks from a place of calmness, others feel comfortable around them. They know that conversations will not suddenly explode into conflict. They trust that their words will be heard with fairness and attention. This trust strengthens relationships in a quiet but powerful way. Friends, family members, and colleagues begin to value the presence of someone whose words bring peace instead of tension. Without trying to dominate conversations, the calm speaker becomes a stabilizing influence. The beauty of this process is that calm speech also strengthens the calm mind itself. Each time a person pauses, observes, and responds thoughtfully, they reinforce their inner stability. Slowly, the mind becomes less reactive and more balanced. In this way, the discipline of calm thinking naturally gives birth to meaningful speech, and meaningful speech becomes a reflection of the peace that lives within the mind. Every word we speak has a destination. It travels from our mouth into the mind of another person, and once it arrives there, it does not simply disappear. Instead, it settles quietly, just like a seed placed into soil. At first, the seed may seem small and unimportant, but with time it begins to grow. In the same way, words often continue to influence people long after the moment of conversation has passed. This is why speech carries such responsibility. When we talk to someone, we are not only exchanging information for that moment, we are placing ideas, emotions, and impressions into their mind. Those impressions can later shape how they see themselves, how they see others, and how they see the world around them. Think about how a simple sentence can remain in a person's memory for years. Perhaps a teacher once told a student that they had great potential. At the time, it may have sounded like an ordinary compliment, but inside the student's mind, that sentence became a seed of confidence. Whenever challenges appeared later in life, the memory of those encouraging words returned. They reminded the person that someone once believed in their ability. In another situation, someone may hear a negative remark about themselves. Maybe it was said casually, without much thought, but the mind holds onto it. The sentence repeats quietly inside the person's thoughts. Over time, it can create doubt, insecurity, or fear of failure. What started as a small moment of speech becomes a lasting influence. This is how words grow into mental patterns. Seeds planted through speech begin to shape the way people think. If a person repeatedly hears words of encouragement, appreciation, and support, their mind slowly becomes more confident and hopeful. They begin to approach life with courage because the seeds inside their mind are positive ones. On the other hand, if someone constantly hears criticism, harsh judgment, or discouraging remarks, different seeds begin to grow. The mind becomes more cautious, more fearful, and sometimes more defensive. Even when opportunities appear, those negative seeds may whisper doubts that hold the person back. But the power of words does not only affect individuals. It also influences relationships and communities. When kind and respectful language is used consistently, people begin to feel valued. That feeling strengthens cooperation and trust. Each encouraging word becomes a small contribution to a healthier emotional environment. Imagine a team working together where members regularly acknowledge each other's efforts. Even small recognition such as "you did a good job" or "thank you for your help" plants seeds of appreciation. Over time, those seeds grow into motivation and loyalty. People feel that their contributions matter, and they naturally want to give their best. The same principle applies within families and friendships. Words, spoken regularly, become part of the emotional landscape people live in. Supportive language creates a sense of belonging. Gentle reminders of someone's strengths help them see themselves more positively. The seeds planted in daily conversations slowly grow into lasting emotional bonds. What makes this idea so important is that many people plant seeds without realizing it. Words are often spoken quickly, during moments of frustration or distraction. But even casual remarks can settle deeply in someone else's mind. This is why awareness in speech matters so much. When we understand that every sentence may become a seed, we begin to choose our words more carefully. Instead of spreading seeds of doubt or negativity, we can intentionally plant seeds that help others grow. A few encouraging words to someone who is struggling, a compliment that recognizes genuine effort, a moment of patience instead of criticism. These actions may seem small in the moment, but their effects can continue long after the conversation ends. Sometimes we may never see the full result of the seeds we plant. A kind word today may inspire someone months or years later. A moment of encouragement may become the motivation that helps someone overcome a difficult challenge. In this way, our words quietly contribute to the growth of others. And when we remember that every sentence we speak becomes a seed in another person's mind, we begin to understand that thoughtful words have the power to cultivate confidence, hope, and strength in the lives around us. Many people look at the world and feel that it is too complicated to change. They see conflict between nations, disagreements in society, and tension between individuals. Because these problems appear so large, people often believe that they have no real influence over them. They think that only powerful leaders or major institutions can shape the future of the world. But the truth is something much more personal and much more immediate. A truly beautiful world does not begin with systems or structures. It begins with individuals and the choices they make every day, especially in the way they speak to one another. The world is not an abstract idea floating somewhere far away. The world is made of people. It is made of conversations, relationships, and interactions that happen every single day. When individuals choose kindness in their words, they are quietly shaping the emotional environment that everyone shares. One person's speech may seem small, but when multiplied by millions of individuals, it becomes the atmosphere of society itself. Think about how easily negativity spreads. One rude comment can ruin someone's mood. That person may then carry their frustration into the next conversation. Without realizing it, they may speak impatiently to someone else. That second person may then respond with the same negativity to another individual later in the day. In this way, one careless moment of speech can travel far beyond its original situation. But kindness spreads in exactly the same way. When someone is treated with respect and warmth, their mood often softens. They become more patient, more understanding, and more open with others. The kindness they received becomes the kindness they pass on. Slowly, a chain of positive influence begins to grow. This shows something very powerful. Each individual is not separate from the emotional climate of the world. Each person contributes to it. Every sentence we speak becomes part of the atmosphere that others must live in. When many individuals choose patience and compassion in their speech, the collective tone of society begins to change. Kindness in words does not require perfection. People will still disagree with each other. They will still have different opinions and perspectives. But kindness changes the way these differences are expressed. Instead of turning disagreements into hostility, respectful speech allows dialogue to remain constructive. People can search for understanding rather than trying to defeat each other. This kind of communication strengthens communities. In workplaces, it builds cooperation. In families, it builds trust and emotional safety. In friendships, it deepens connection and loyalty. Each respectful interaction becomes a small building block in the structure of a healthier society. Another important truth is that individuals often influence more people than they realize. A teacher who speaks encouragingly to students may inspire confidence that lasts for decades. A parent who models respectful speech teaches children how to communicate for the rest of their lives. A friend who offers kind and supportive words can help someone find strength during difficult times. These influences continue spreading long after the original conversation ends. The student who once received encouragement may later encourage someone else. The child who grew up hearing respectful communication may create a peaceful home for their own family. In this way, kindness in words moves quietly through generations. The responsibility, therefore, does not belong only to leaders or public figures. It belongs to everyone. Every person has the ability to make their immediate environment a little more peaceful through the way they speak. The conversations we have today shape the relationships we will experience tomorrow. When individuals become aware of this influence, something meaningful begins to change inside them. They no longer see kindness as a small gesture. They see it as a contribution to the well-being of the world. They begin to understand that each respectful sentence is part of a much larger transformation. And when more individuals consciously choose kindness in their words, they create a ripple effect that spreads kindness and compassion to all. The beauty of the world gradually grows from the hearts and voices of the people who live within it. As we come to the end of these reflections, remember something simple yet powerful. A beautiful world does not suddenly appear one day. It is created moment by moment, word by word, through the awareness of ordinary people. The way we speak to each other today becomes the emotional environment we all live in tomorrow. Every word you choose carries a quiet influence. It can either add warmth to the world or add weight to someone's heart. You may never fully see the impact of your words, but they travel farther than you imagine. A small sentence of encouragement can stay in someone's memory for years. A gentle response in a tense moment can prevent unnecessary pain. A few kind words can restore hope in a tired mind. So before speaking, take a small pause. Allow the mind to become calm. Let your words come from patience, understanding, and respect. Because when speech comes from a peaceful mind, it naturally carries kindness. And kindness has the power to soften hearts, build trust, and create connections between people who may otherwise remain strangers. Do not underestimate the difference you can make. You do not need fame or power to improve the world. You only need awareness in the way you speak and sincerity in the way you treat others. When individuals begin to choose kind words in their daily lives, families become more positive and supportive, become stronger, friendships become deeper, and communities become more compassionate. The beauty of this journey is that kindness always returns to the one who gives it. When you speak with warmth, your own heart becomes lighter. When you offer encouragement, you strengthen your own spirit as well. In giving kindness to the world, you also create peace within yourself. So walk forward with awareness. Let your words become seeds of hope, respect, and encouragement wherever you go. Speak in a way that makes people feel valued and understood, because every kind word you share becomes a small step toward a more beautiful world. May your words bring light to many hearts. May your presence inspire kindness in others. And may your journey be filled with wisdom and compassion. Good luck to you all, and thank you.